So, what is a crown? And also the question, why a crown? Basically, a crown is done when a tooth is so badly broken down from either decay or breakage, or sometimes both, that a simple filling just isn't going to be strong enough to restore that tooth um, uh, to be durable and long-lasting and actually work. So a crown is a much stronger material. It's going to cover the entire tooth, and it's going to be able to restore that tooth to full function, form, aesthetics, and comfort. This diagram gives kind of a visual sense of what a crown is all about. On the left, number one is a tooth with a large area of decay or broken. Two shows how the tooth is shaped for the crown to fit over it. The crown is sort of thimble shaped, as you see in the third picture here, and it fits over the entire tooth and cements into place. And the fourth picture shows the crown in place. And some of these pictures may not be for the squeamish, but I wanted to show you what goes on when that tooth is shaped. We use our dental drill, as you would call it, and a diamond embedded burr, spinning very rapidly with water spray coolant and lubricant, and it can cut away at the enamel to create the shape that we need for the crown. And we're not just whacking down the tooth. It's done, of course, with anesthetic, so it's done comfortably. And we're creating a very specific shape, specific contours, specific dimensions, and specific amounts of reduction of tooth structure. This again will give you some sense of what the shape of a crown looks like. It's sort of thimble shaped. The reason a crown can be so strong is because it's made of a material in a lab outside of the mouth, as opposed to placing a filling directly in the mouth. So a crown we consider to be an indirect procedure. In this picture we're showing a gold crown, but we rarely use gold in our office. This is just to demonstrate what the shape looks like. There are several different materials a crown can be made out of. On top here we're seeing a metal crown. This may be a gold alloy. It may be a non-precious metal alloy. The middle picture is what we call a PFM crown. That stands for porcelain fused to metal. So the part that is showing is porcelain, but it's baked onto a understructure of a gold or other metal alloy. This was done originally for strength because we didn't have strong enough porcelain or ceramic materials to use. So the porcelain and metal combination was a good combination for strength and durability in its day. But today we have very good, strong, all ceramic crowns, which you see on the bottom here. In our office, we prefer to stay away from using metal at all for biocompatibility purposes. And an all ceramic crown is very strong and very biocompatible. This photo is just kind of to show you what different types of crowns look like in the mouth. This person's got just about everything in here. This back tooth is a gold crown. The next one forward is a PFM, porcelain fused to metal, although they kept the metal on the chewing surface for strength, allegedly. And here's a more recent kind of material, the all ceramic crown. Crowns can be done on front teeth as well. Sometimes people call a crown on a front tooth a cap. Cap and crown is basically the same thing. This picture is showing a crown on this tooth. This is a PFM crown. It's not the greatest aesthetic match. It's a little too large, both length and kind of width. It's a little too fat. But another characteristic of a PFM crown often is that if you look at the gum line, sometimes the grayness of that little metal at the edge of the crown shows through, and sometimes it creates this bluish or purplish discoloration. So PFM crowns not used much anymore in our office because of these drawbacks, and now because we have better materials. Here you can compare the aesthetics of PFM crowns on the left and all ceramic crowns on the right. And again, it's the best we had at one time in dentistry, the PFM crowns, but now we have very nice, very strong, very biocompatible materials such as zirconia, which is this the crowns on the right, and they can be made to look very, very natural looking. And if you have a good lab technician, and we do, they can create crowns that look very lifelike and very nicely aesthetic looking. This is a posterior crown on a molar tooth. This kind of crown is made in a lab, although you'll see another option in a minute here. But in a lab, the crown is constructed on a very precise model of the tooth. With the right skill of the dental lab technician and the right communication from the dentist, the crown can be made to have a beautiful fit on the tooth and fit with the surrounding teeth and fit with the bite. Here's an example of a finished crown on a model. These little cut marks are slices made by the lab technician in the process of making the crown. And this is what a crown can look like in the mouth. This is an all ceramic crown on this molar tooth. There's no discoloration at the gum line. The contours and color and shape look like a natural tooth, look like this patient's own natural teeth. So what I've shown you is a lab processed crown. It takes maybe a couple weeks for the lab to make that. What happens to the tooth in between? Well, in your first visit, the tooth will be shaped and impressions are taken, and then a temporary crown is made and fit over the tooth with a temporary cement, so it stays in place comfortably and protects the tooth and keeps it comfortable for the couple of weeks that the lab procedure is being done. But there is another way of making a crown, and that's in a single visit in the office itself, and that's what we call CAD/CAM. Stands for Computer Assisted Design, Computer Assisted Manufacture. One version of a CAD/CAM crown is using an instrument called CEREC. So this is completed in a single visit. There's no messy impressions and no temporary crown. The tooth gets shaped. There's at that point you have a bit of a waiting period, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes or so, while the crown is getting made in our own lab. Using this CEREC machine, instead of taking an impression, there is a intraoral camera device that digitally records the shape of all of the teeth, the tooth in question, and all of the surrounding teeth, and creates a digital three-dimensional image on the screen. Then there's sort of a partnership of design between the doctor and the sort of artificial intelligence into the programming of the CEREC machine, and the crown is designed virtually on the screen. This is actually an onlay, which we'll cover on another video, but it's the same process. So this is designed on the screen. That design is programmed into this milling machine. And the milling machine consists of a couple of very tiny diamond-embedded burrs that are now computer programmed to carve away at this block of ceramic material and create the very same precise shape of the crown or onlay that was determined on the screen and on the computer screen. It's a very precise, very detailed process here. It doesn't take very long. The patient is just waiting for a little bit in the chair. Then this completed crown can go back to the mouth and cement it into place. So start to finish, the whole procedure is done. The patient doesn't have to go home with a temporary crown, and everything can be done in a single visit. So that's the story of a crown, particularly an all ceramic crown, which is mostly what we use in our office. And we have different types of ceramics to choose from. They're all very strong, durable, long-lasting, biocompatible, and very aesthetic and natural looking, as you can see on some of the photos.